Look at that, y'all. It's so pretty. We're like almost professionals. I love it so much. Are you real shy now because the camera's on you? Yeah. Because it's going to be super hot today. We don't work in the heat. We stop. Go do laundry. Clean clothes rock.
Any leading advice for the watchers?
Make sure you eat breakfast first because I'm borderline hangry. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. Hey, Chloe. We gotta go. Oh, it's not dead. Richard's all kind of awake. Or I call him Richard. That's not Richard anymore. Okay, good morning, you guys. We are starting on the walls of the shop shed. Kira is clipping our little plumber's tape. Let me give you a close-up of that because I don't think we did before. So this is the plumber's tape. It's the metal stuff that has the holes in it. And we use these little holes to put the screws in. Oh, he got a lot to say. And this is what it looks like. And that's actually pretty tight. Like I cannot shift that up or down, so it works perfectly, and you're not drilling into your post. Before, I'd always drilled into the post, and I feel like it affects the integrity of it. So, I mean, if you can't afford the plumber's tape, you can drill directly into the post. This works really good because then I don't have the screw in the way when I'm trying to add the metal, which I have had it happen where I've been putting in a screw through the metal and I hit the screw that goes through the wood into the thing, and now I have a hole in my metal and it's kind of a pain. So anyway, that's what we're doing this morning. The goal is to finish both sides, so we'll see if that happens. I'll give you guys a close-up of this dang rooster. Let's hear it. Good morning. He's so funny. He's so little. He's like, I'm full of myself. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we started with fixing the ends. So we had to brace them in some manner, and we had these big long 2x6s that we'd milled off of the sawmill, and we just set them up. It didn't really matter where. We just made sure that the legs were plumb, and then added these to keep them in that space. Because until you get your sides on, it is pretty darn wiggly and easy to move. So we also used the straps to hold everything in place the way that we wanted. And then we went ahead and grabbed our 2x3s, and I wanted a solid straight top line because we would be attaching to that. So we cut the center and then placed that in there, so it's just like one solid piece. The bottom didn't matter as much, so we went ahead and just did some little bit of overlay, and that was perfectly fine. It worked really well. I have no idea if I'm cutting my head off. I may not have a head.
You got everything.
Okay, good.
Minus that side.
Okay, so we got the bracing on. We set this at 4 foot. And I want it to overlap down here on the bottom. So we're only going to go halfway on here, and then this upper metal that we end up doing will go the other halfway. So we grabbed the black metal for the bottom, and we're going to start walking that up here. Now, I do have the J rail thing. I'm not putting it on the bottom because I don't care. So one of the things that I do want to mention is you want to be aware of weight on the frame. You could use 1x material. The 2x3s were just cheaper. So then we just brought in the 4 foot metal and proceeded to attach it on the bottom. And then we ran the J line material. I don't know what that's called. J strap? I'm not sure. Anyway, we ran that along the top afterwards and attached it all in, and then screwed that all down together. And that definitely gives it a nice clean finish on the top. This was all super simple to do. You just pop them up in there, and it really didn't take very long at all once you're completely set up. The biggest thing is you want to make sure everything is level on there, and that top line is really important, and that all your legs are exactly where you need them to be from here on out, because you're not going to be able to move them. So be hyper vigilant about that. One of the things that I did not do, which was square my building after I put it up, and I really should have done that. So, you know, do that before you start all this. Look at that, y'all. It's so pretty. We're like almost professionals. Oh no, my battery's at 13%. So the screw just goes under there. We add our little lip. We had a problem with it kind of going down. If you can look at the wood. Over here you have more wood showing on the bottom. I don't know, it might just be that some of the wood over there is buried, so it looks like it is. Actually, Kira, now that I'm looking at it. I love it so much! Okay, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to start working on the other side. What's the matter? Are you caught a rabbit? Did you catch a rabbit? Are you real shy now because the camera's on you? Yeah. You want to take it inside? But we don't take rabbits inside. You so close, girl. You so close. We don't take rabbits inside. He's like, I want to do that. So I'm a princess. Good morning, y'all. I'm at the salon getting my hair did. Are you my stylist for the day? Huh? You my stylist? Yeah, you are. Who knows what I'm gonna look like, y'all? This one seems new. Okay, good morning, everybody. We've actually already been busy this morning. We took, I don't know if you guys can see it. It used to be right here, but there was I see the roof of it. Anyway, carport barn thing that we did when we first moved up here for the animals, and we're pulling the 2x4s off of it in order to frame in the end of this one. So constantly moving things around. But off camera, we finished this other side of the carport. It's the black, but it's the back side, so it was hard to film. So today we are working on getting this end completely framed in, and maybe the next end, but probably not. It's probably just gonna be one end while we figure it all out, because it's gonna be super hot today. We don't work in the heat. We stop. Go do laundry. Excited about laundry? Clean clothes rock. So then we took down these ends after we have all the metal up, took off the strapping, and began working on the end parts. So this is a lumber that's off the other one. I actually thought there was more than this, but I guess there's not. Whew. But hopefully this will be enough to frame in at least one side. Then we'll have to rip boards out of lumber that we have off of the sawmill. So that's not as much fun as just using these that are already the right size. It's getting warm, y'all, getting warm. Okay, so they said it was going to rain. So we actually put our little sides up that have the little windows. These are the tarps that came with it. So that actually does work. You know, if you had to pause at this point for a little bit, which I do because I want to mill out some lumber to put in, fill this space in with. We want to do a board and batten look, and that's going to take a hot second to get that milled. So the mill has to come back to the property, and then we can find our trees and do our trees. But we've set up in here, and now you can see, not sure why that chair's here, but it's probably because it was gonna rain. But this is a 10 by 20, and it can very quickly, it will very quickly get full of stuff. So they do have 12-foot wide ones. I've never bought those. I always buy the 10-foot ones. So you may want to think about that. we're going to end up putting a shelving unit all the way down, maybe this side, actually. My brain says this side, but I don't know. Doesn't matter, really. Maybe it's because I'm right-handed. Which side of the building do you guys walk in on and go to? Is based on your right-handed or left-handed? That's kind of interesting. So we just tossed those up because we were supposed to get a big rainstorm. They, of course, now taken that off of the heat forecast because it was actually supposed to last like 3 days during the night. But this is going to be fine having that up there. So today we're working on these ends. This end particularly, this is the end that's going to have the door. And we may cut out all the material for that end. We'll just see. So basic time-lapse video because there's a lot to do, and this is a trying to make these shorter videos. You kitties don't know what to think, do you? Mama bought them a rabbit, but this is their first day getting to go in and out. They're like, what is happening? How many cats do we have now, Kira? 20 cats. We are officially the crazy cat ladies. We started with 3. And then they got pregnant before we could get them spayed. Kira's freaking out because I'm letting them be outside, but we have to teach them to go in and out. They have gotten too rowdy to just be locked inside. Now the tiny babies that are, how old are Brennan's babies? 5 weeks? They're not going to go far. None of them will go far. They'll stick around right here. And then we'll put them all back in whenever we go back in. So this is the side facing the house. This is where I wanted the actual door. And you could obviously do this multiple different ways. I know that the OSB is really going to hold all of this together. So what I'm doing is I'm putting these 2x4s directly where the OSB can attach on both 4-foot sides, basically. And then we have it just standing straight up and down. It's not the way that your OSB is supposed to go. It's supposed to go horizontal instead of vertical. But I didn't care at this point. And I really needed to use the material that I had and be very frugal with that particular material. So we put the vertical pieces up and then a few horizontal pieces that needed to be there to continue to hold the OSB down. It was super simple, very easy. I wanted a 4-foot wide door, so that's the width that we set these at. Now you could do both ends this way, create a hallway and have a door going out both sides, or you could actually frame it in as a regular wall. For me, I'm just trying to use the least amount of material to get the job done. What you don't want to do is really have anything hanging from the roof. So it needs to be basically a freestanding wall that your OSB could go onto and help hold that roof up, because this is a lot of weight for a frame that's not meant to do this. So I do want to stress that, but it does work. And, you know, you just don't want to make everything super heavy. So that's what you need to look at and what you need to make sure that you're keeping in mind as you're doing this. One tip that I would definitely say is before you put the roof on, before you put the metal on or any of those things, set your piping for the roof and draw a template from it. It will make all of this so much easier when you're enclosing all of this in. And then you have the exact measurement of the roof and you can very easily cut things out. This was probably the most difficult part for us, was getting this, the roof line cut correctly. Can you hold this?
Any leading advice for the watchers?
Make sure you eat breakfast first, because I'm borderline hangry. Okay, so today we're guys. Daddy's like, the outside was mine. Why are those kittens out here? So today we're finishing our ends and our door, hopefully. This other end is going to be real simple because if we actually have the length, this is 10 foot, so we need them to be a little bit longer than 10 foot. Then we could just put those up and then put the OSB on that. We're not framing a door in there. Eventually I will put up top, I will put a vent fan just as I will here. Because I would like to actually get it completely enclosed, but that's not the, what I'm I'm not super concerned with it being sealed tight right now. But next year, if we upgrade and do some things, then I'll figure out, I may do some spray foam up top, which would help with the rigidity and strength of the roof. Also would insulate it. I'm kind of thinking maybe doing a heated slab so that could be heated and it could warm up this area so that in the wintertime I could actually go out there and work, and that would be nice. We have some projects that we like to do in the winter and not do in the summer because you have to pick when you work outside in areas like here. First couple of years we worked during the winter and it was miserable outside. So I try not to do that now. I try to work inside. But that's what we're doing this morning. I think that it's looking fantastic. I do have some metal to finish off these corners. But the goal for the end of this video is to get these two ends shut in and a door on here. And then I can get this video out to you. So let's get to it. It's much easier, huh? Hey. So we had the top part to figure out, and I just measured, you know, kind of everywhere that I needed. I knew that I was going to cut this space to fit the piece. So again, just if I would have pre-measured all of this and pre-did a template, this would have been really simple, but it wasn't. It still wasn't super hard. It's very doable. If you could use something lighter than the OSB, I would do that. The plywood, the 1/2-inch plywood is lighter than the OSB and would have worked beautifully. It would have just been something that I would have had to have gone to purchase where I had the OSB here on hand. And I am thinking about doing down the sides in the plywood, that top part that's not been filled in yet. So basically we cut this out to fit the piece that we had cut to put up here on the top. And that worked out really, really well. I used the little hand circular saw, the mini circular saw, and the reciprocating saw to cut through the edges. And then we were able to just pop this right up here and screw it in, and voila, it's done. So this whole project took us about 4 days to get to the point at the end of this video, which really isn't awful, especially since we have health issues and we get hot and we don't work all day long. We definitely take lots and lots of breaks. So it is a very easy and manageable project for, I pretty much believe, anyone. So the back part here that we were doing, like I said, we're not putting a door or anything. This is a solid piece. So we measured where the sheets of OSB would end, and we put bracer boards in there. And this lumber, a lot of this was milled, but some of this was not. It was store-bought, so they were different sizes. So when you get to a close-up, we just made everything flush on the outside, not particularly on the inside. We went ahead and used the straps to hold these on, just like we did everything else. There are no holes drilled into any of this frame anywhere on this project. But I did just go ahead and continue up with the vertical boards, which are the 2x4s, all the way to the top. That worked really well on the front. And so I really liked that, doing it that particular way. Of course, the back is a whole lot easier than the front because you're just cutting 3 pieces of OSB. I do think this ended up taking 4 pieces because you have the top. Or it ended up being cut out from a leftover spot. So, cost-wise, I think we used 7 sheets of OSB to complete in both ends of these. So, at, you know, $17 a pop versus the $22 of the plywood, you know, there is a little bit of a cost difference there. But if you were purchasing the materials for this, I would go with the lighter weight of the plywood versus the OSB. So we really try to use what is here on our land, and this is St. John's wort. We are going to be clearing up this area, and we wanted to get as much of it cut and drying as we possibly could. We'll do this for the next couple of days, and then we'll start clearing this area and getting ready for a beautiful garden. But it's lovely that this stuff grows wild and has so many medicinal qualities about it. So definitely look in your yard, see what you got. Okay, so we spent about 30 minutes picking St. John's wort. I am sweating bad. It's a humid day. So we're gonna have the generator running because we're charging solar powered, the Blue Eddy and some other stuff. We have a couple other ones. But we're getting ready to work on the end over there and the door. So here we go. It is so exciting to finally be finishing up the doors and the ends of this. This is the very top part that I have to put on the back. So we're just getting that cut out really quick and put up really quick. It's pretty self-explanatory. Again, do the template. I cannot stress doing a template before you put anything up whatsoever on your shed. It would be very helpful in getting it fully enclosed, because then you could very easily cut out your 2x sections and get your OSB all the way up to your metal and would have a better enclosed in space. I decided using the little handsaw definitely kind of wanders a bit. So we used a 2x4 to make a straight line so that I could get better cuts. And this is for our door, and we really want the door to be a straight cut all the way through. Now, I did not want one big piece of door to open up, so we took a sheet of OSB, cut it in half, had 2-foot sections, which we then attached to the shed just using basic gate latches. I like the look of them. I think they hold weight really well. And those are being screwed directly into those 2x4s that are on the side. So I think it's going to hold really well. Having these be the 2-foot sections instead of trying to do a full door, 4-foot door, makes this actually pretty light. These doors are pretty light. Now, again, I don't have to have locks and stuff like that here because of where I live. I just needed a door that could open and close and be on there. And I wanted it to open up all the way flat against the building so that whenever I'm in there, I just open the doors. I can have nice airflow, and that works really well. You would need to do this a little bit different if you definitely wanted to be locking it. I mean, obviously I could put a latch on there and lock it that way, but I don't really need to do that. I will be putting a little hook latch so that it can be hooked to stay shut, but for now I don't really mind it just laying closed like that. So after we did the door, which didn't get actually put on camera, we cut a 3-inch piece and it went over that center crack and covered that so that it was completely closed in. Absolutely love it. Turned out great.
Woo! We got a door. We got a door. We got a door. Hey, Chloe. We got a door.
So if you've ever thought about building one of these and enclosing one of these in, I do recommend it, especially if you need to get something thrown up very quickly on your off-grid property or on your property in general to store things in. It will last through the winter unless you're, I would say, in Alaska or someone that gets someplace that gets feet and feet and feet of snow. We get around 4 foot of snow here, and the other one that I've put up that has a metal roof has lasted for 5 years with no problems.